Thank you so much. I really just want to thank you all for being here, and I want to thank the editors, the Smiths, and I want to thank Frances Golden, who brought this into life, as she does so much for all of us. And I just want to say, working on Eleanor Roosevelt right now, who is one of our great socialists. And I sort of hesitated to say that for a little while, until I found a column that she wrote on August 10th, 1944, just as FDR is going to run for the 4th term, in which he is called un-American, and the New Deal is called un-American. And everything they stand for is viciously attacked by that little Republican, Mr. Dewey, and his campaign manager, John Foster Dulles. In the 21st century, with this great heritage of, from Crystal Eastman, the World War I socialists and pacifists who founded, Claire Koss and I met at a place called the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. That's WILF. So there's CCR, and there's the ACLU, and there's WILF, and there's the Fund for Open Information and Accountability, and this war against whistleblowers. What's going on here? If we had freedom of information, we wouldn't need whistleblowers. Everything we are doing is so stupid. It's a word that Eleanor Roosevelt used all the time. She said, how stupid we are that we don't realize. When she was talking about education, she said, we do not invest enough in education. We spend something like 20% of what we spend on white children on black children. This is 1934. She said, why don't we understand that we will all go ahead together, or we will all go down together? 1934. In this article that I found, in 1944, she makes it very clear that capitalists are those truly greedy people who have a little sign over their beds, maximize profits. For the 1%, we need to occupy everywhere and occupy everything. And she said, we really need to reconsider what we want from our politicians. We need to see that there are people who intend to serve human beings and fight to serve human beings. And then there are people who want material profit. What we want to do is to support those politicians and those people who think first of human needs and only after that about things, as Frances said, most of us don't need, and at this point, most of us don't want. So here we are. We're asked to stick to our chapters. I do want to mention Crystal Eastman, who founded the ACLU and the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom during World War I. I do want to mention Jane Addams and Lillian Wald. My partner Claire Koss has written about Lillian Wald, and Mary White Ovington, a great socialist, and her play Dr. Du Bois and Ms. Ovington is on right now at the Castillo Theater until February 16th. Two great socialists in a room together with a confrontation. We need them now, just as we need each other. These are the people in my chapter. But I want to mention one other person, not in my chapter, Wendell Willkie. Some people said they were, sort of socialists as children. I, alas, was an Ayn Randist as a child. And so I'm a recovering Randist. those Souths for Freedom, which I did in 1961. And I realized I'd never seen poverty. I'd never seen bigotry the way I saw it in North Carolina. And I'm happy to say this is a Moral Monday in North Carolina. We have Moral Mondays. And we have great change. And there's this guy, Wendell Willkie. Wendell Willkie goes around the world in 1943 and he has an epiphany. His epiphany is very simple. Everything that happens anywhere impacts on everybody, everywhere. We are one world. And it's Wendell Willkie who says to FDR, "So hey, why don't you have an executive order and end segregation in the military?" How about that? They're thinking about starting a new party after the war. And then Wendell Willkie, who drinks too much, eats too much, loves too much, drops dead of much too much, very suddenly, at the age of 52. And that's the end of that idea that we need a new party, a truly progressive anti-Dixiecrat party to end bigotry and the kind of classist insanity that we have. And what they are standing for, Eleanor Roosevelt and her friends, housing for everybody, decent, good housing for everybody, jobs for everybody. We need, says FDR, 60 million new jobs to have a global trade structure that we must have, that must be democratic. We can all work together. And he even thought we could all work together, all of us, globally, through the United Nations. Now I want to say about one more organization I want you all to look at, which is NESRI.org, the National Economic and Social Rights Initiative. The U.S. has never even had a conversation about the economic and social rights part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So this is what we need globally. This is what we need domestically. We have to end the prison-industrial complex and the military-industrial complex. And I have to say, it's not just folks in the Bronx who are socialists. I teach at John Jay College. I have veterans. They come back for what they've seen and what they've endured, and they're very angry. There's a club, 600 veterans. Club at John Jay, 600. And they are very angry because a majority of the homeless people are veterans. And they have this club that goes out to the parks with food and tarps and blankets. Something is really wrong. And we need to end it. We don't need the truly greedy. We need socialism. We need love. And one of the people in my chapter says, imagine if we could have a society where everybody's needs were taken care of and there'd be happiness for everybody. Imagine. Thank you.